Hi, Rolf.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's the weather like there in Miami?
Well, we had the coldest days in the history of Miami. I don't know what happened, but we had like 6 degrees and 7 degrees. We never have 6 degrees, never. But now it's like 21. It's okay, but it's super cold for us. So hi, Diogo. I function only if I have 30 degrees. So everything what is below 30 is not for me.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, it's we're having really lovely weather. I see that there's a lot of people that still need to log on. If I look at the numbers that we should be having, I think people are probably still logging on.
Yeah.
Do you know how many attendees that we get registered at the end?
290.
290.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so we have a couple of people that should still be logging on, because we only had 70, 80 people at the moment.
Yeah. So we're gonna record everything, and
Yeah.
then we can send the link with the recording.
The link. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know if you met Andrea. That's our team, Andrea, Samia, and our instructors, integration consultants, and Diogo, the lead instructor of Smilefy.
Hello, everyone.
Hello from Brazil.
Oh, wow,
lovely.
great.
Are you in Sao Paulo?
No, I'm all the way in the south. It's like close to Argentina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we are gonna do a live hands-on. I see that we have almost 100 people here already. For those who have not downloaded Smilefy, go on App Store right now on your iPhone, iPad, or MacBook. We're gonna do hands-on with the same patient together.
Perfect.
Okay. And then we have Samia and Andrea. We are in Florida. We are here in our offices. And integrational consultants. So we organize, onboarding demos with our users. We help them getting started with every single feature. And yeah. So
Great.
Brazil and Venezuela is in the house today.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. Welcome,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi.
I wish you could all come to Cape Town. We've got such nice weather at the moment.
We will, for sure, we will. So I follow a girl from Netherlands on YouTube, and she's traveling all over the world with a motorbike, and she was like months in South Africa. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's something that we're gonna for sure do. So not only course, then we need to stay 1 week and visit everything what you have.
Absolutely. You need to have a nice holiday.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but I'm sorry, Diogo, I'm gonna fly alone to South Africa.
That seems a bit unfair.
So
Great. Do you guys think we can start so long? Do you want to start? Do you want to wait 1 or 2 minutes?
I think we can start, and we can resend the link,
I'm happy with that. That's perfect. Yes. Okay, so I see there's a couple of people still logging on, but this is officially the start of the webinar. Thank you to everyone that's attending, and also thanks for watching afterwards. We're very excited about our first webinar tonight, this first SARD webinar that we're hosting. And especially so because we're doing it with the amazing guys from Smilefy. And I think we're going to learn so much. It's going to get a little bit technical for the ones that's already used the Smilefy app. So I think I'm really looking forward to getting those little tools and tricks And we're also going to actually work with the app in the webinar. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to hand over to Mary if you want to just introduce Rolf and tell us a bit more about the guy. Thanks.
Okay, I think if I did that, then we would be here for the full 1.5 hours talking about Ralph. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Essentially today, I mean, recently there's been a lot of buzz around smile design, around digital planning, and all the things that are possible with digital. And I think one of the first things that we as dentists can do is arm ourselves with the knowledge of the tools that are out there and available to us. So Ralph George Ovier founded Smilefy and presents to us today a piece of technology that is so wholesome in what it can offer you if you understand it well and if you use it for the right things. And I'm very, very excited for him to take us through his journey from 2D to 3D to where it is today and how it has grown and what the capacity and the potential is. When it comes to anything around technology, we know that today your iPhone is new and tomorrow the next one is being launched. And he has had the insight and the foresight to know what that next thing is and jump on it and create it and allow us to all engage with it. So thank you so much, Ralph, and your team for taking the time to this evening to educate our South African group of dentists on what magic is out there. And with that, I'm gonna let you take the reins.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation and for having us. So I'm gonna start with the philosophy of Smilefy. When I started Smilefy in 2016, the idea was to create a technology that can automate workflows and can help us plan more and more accurate and more quick, of course, aesthetic treatments for our patients. 2017, 2021, I partnered up with Digital Smile Design and I created the DSD app. And the DSD app was a tool that was focused on motivational smile design and selling the case. It didn't have anything clinical. So, but I wanted to create something that is more automated, more clinical. We can go deeper into the treatment plan, and whatever we do, it needs to be accurate, it needs to be precise, it needs to be quick from the very beginning. Smile design for decades now, for 10, 20 years, was based on a picture, was based on a 2D smile design. Great minds created something based on the technology that was available 10 years ago to start somewhere creating the aesthetic planning, right? So we had a picture and we wanted to put the teeth in the face of the patient somehow, instead of just creating the teeth on a model and then trying out in the face of the patient. That was a great idea. And my point was that in many years after this starting of the smile design movement, many systems started to copying each other and not to create something new, not to create an innovative workflow that can change the way we see smiles and we plan smiles for the patient. That's why when I created the Smilefy platform, the vision was to create something that is not based on a guess, but it's based on as accurate as possible data and facial analysis that we have. And so the technology of the platform started, and we do have really the highest level of innovation and technology, and we need to really automate and optimize the workflows so that we can save time, because time is the most valuable asset that we have. And then to enhance patient experience with interactive and visual communication, of course, increase case acceptance, but also raise the quality of the treatment from the very first appointment. And I'm going to talk about more about these steps. So we do have in the Smile Design TNG, which means Smile Design the next generation, we have two principles. 2D Smile Design is powerful but superficial. It has no clinical value and only one purpose: to motivate the patient and to open the discussion for an aesthetic treatment. That's the reason why, from a business and clinical perspective, the 2D Smile Design cannot take more than 1 minute. We do the smile simulation, we show the patient the result, and we ask the most important question: do you see the advantage of an aesthetic treatment? If the patient says yes, then we can go to the next step, and then we need more digital data for the patient, and then we can create with automatic and automation more accurate smile designs and smile plannings. Smilefy works on iPad, iPhone, and Mac computer. So it's very convenient because the case is connected to the cloud. So everyone can open the cases on all devices that you have available, right? And the communication is very, very simple. And you can review cases on your iPhone, design 3D on the iPhone or on the iPad, Mac. So it works on all these 3 devices. Now, what features do we have in Smilefy? The motivational smile design, which I'm going to show immediately, takes 1 minute, and we need to find out 2 important questions from the patient. Then we have the 3D motivational mock-up. We have the ideal 3D smile design. We have the composite veneers models. We have crown lengthening design and treatment plan. We are going to release soon the full arch implant bridges, AI diagnostics based on this DICOM file, and we have the smile design service in 24 hours. That's the full platform. When we start with the first step, we need to create a digital version of the patient. But to create a digital version of the patient, we need several files and, of course, at least pictures and intraoral scans. Of course, if you have DICOM files and facial scans, and you can integrate everything in the patient documentation, and then we have the digital records of the patient. That's perfect, but nevertheless, what we need to do is not the patient documentation, we need the digital patient, because the digital patient means that all the files are calibrated in a digital version of the patient, and that's the way we calibrate the digital patient, having a digital replica, right? With the CBCT, with the intraoral scans and everything from the patient. And we build on top of this digital patient our projects. The first important step is the frontal facial smile. And the frontal facial smile is very important for the smile simulation, for motivating the patient, but also for the 3D smile design. And that's a big problem because 95% of the frontal facial smile pictures are not very well done. The patient is not frontal, the patient looks up, down, to the side. And that's a big problem because we need the frontal facial smile, plus we need the open mouth. We need enough space in the mouth to design the smile. For that reason, we integrated in our camera an AI capture feature. Now we analyze the position of the face of the patient, and we have our patient here, Samia, the tutorial patient, right? As soon as the face is 90 degrees to the camera, as soon as the smile is big, as soon as the eyes are open, you can see that the app takes pictures automatically. You don't need to do anything. We take the frontal pictures, and then, as you can see, eyes are open 100%. The smile is big enough. We analyze every single picture taken, and then we can use this picture for the smile simulation and the 3D smile design, of course. Everything what we do is facial driven, so we need to start with the picture. Having this AI capture in the iPhone and in the iPad Pro version, we can reduce the mistake rate by taking the picture, and we start with a good frontal facial smile picture. Now we go to the next step, and we are gonna create the smile simulation. And I'm gonna show you what is the purpose of the smile simulation. So the purpose of the smile simulation is, number one, to motivate the patient and to show the patient the advantage of an aesthetic treatment. Needs to be done in 1 minute. And we have two important questions that we ask our patient. So we start with this gentleman. The smile frame that you know is calculated automatically on the face based on facial analysis, facial proportions. You can adjust the smile frame if needed, of course, right? Facial smile curve, the position, the buccal corridor a little bit, and we simulate the result, the smile simulation. We do have the first result. We do have here several options to change the shapes, oval, square, triangle, and so on. What we can do is to go to the smile harmony, and we can show the patient different smile designs or different form of our templates, just to find out the first important questions. What do you like? What do you expect? Do you like round shapes, or do you like square shapes, square embrasures, round embrasures, right? We need to find out the preference of the patient. The patient is going to share with us the preference. And the second important question is the smile dominance. The smile dominance, the laterals are lying on the smile curve, or we can reduce the size of the lateral and create a more dominant smile. More dominant smile. That's it. 1 minute, we do have a smile simulation. The patient is motivated. The patient sees the advantage of an aesthetic treatment, and we can go to the next step. We bring the CBCT, we bring the intraoral scan, we bring the facial scan eventually, and we start designing the 3D. Plus, with the AI diagnostics, we can get more insights regarding the patient's health, bone loss, cavities, fractures, and everything what we need to create the smile. Why do I say? Why the big argument is this smile design has no clinical value? Because let's analyze a little bit the patient. We do have an open bite. We do have eventually not only the open bite, but also eventually different biological conditions that we are going to find out with the AI diagnostics. So promising the patient that that's going to be the result is impossible. It is impossible. We need to know what can we do with the patient, ortho, correction, closing the bite, and so on. And afterwards, we can replan with 3D the real result and the treatment planning. So we have so many moving pieces, starting with this gentleman, starting the treatment. We cannot promise that the 2D smile design, a simple 2D smile design, is going to be the result of this patient. That's very important to know, and we need really to understand the new principles of smile design. 2D smile design, it's just motivational, showing the patient the advantage of an aesthetic treatment. That's it. Good. So this smile simulation and motivating the patient can be done in really 1 minute. You are going to be able to do this after 5 minutes of training. So it's a very, very long and intense 5 minutes, but afterwards, this motivational design is done forever. And we go then to the next step where we start with the 3D smile design. And that's going to be the topic on how we can create the motivational mock-up or the 3D smile design in office. The most important message from Smilefy, from the platform, from the vision is, I want you to have control over your patient. I want you to be able to change the design. I want you to have fully access and control over the treatment plan, and not depending on a lab or a technician or the time that he needs to respond when you want to change something in the design. So now the Smilefy platform gives you full control over your patient. Even if your lab technician is designing the smile, you can easily adjust the design, or you can design first appointment in your office with training, and you can create a mock-up experience for your patient in the first appointment. Of course, depending on how complex the case is, right? That's the smile design. So the motivational mock-up is to create a real feeling of an aesthetic improvement. We can do non-prep veneers, additive cases with composite. We can correct broken teeth. We can correct incisal edges. Very, very easy, very quick and simple with flowable composite. So we're going to have some more details on that. We can do the ideal design. The desired result can be additive or subtractive case. We can do the full arch implant and the diagnostics design. Of course, I'm going to tell you more about this. So let's start with this with the 3D smile design. The 3D smile design is done in very few steps, and I'm going to show you right now 3D smile design, just to visualize how easy it is to design a 3D when we understand the principles of the new workflow. And the most important aspect of this 3D smile design that we have is that when you design the smile like this, the mock-up like this, you can change the form of the templates in real time without redesigning. So you can get 1, 2, 3 versions of the design at once, and you can export and you can create for your patient a different experience regarding the motivational design. And these steps are very, very specific because, as I mentioned before, instead of following some philosophies or principles of smile design, and everybody, like for the last 7, 8 years, every single company is copying each other following the same steps, I created something completely new because, from my perspective, I think that's the real innovation. We need to create something new to speed up everything what we have, the process. So let me start with the try me case, because you can use these cases to practice. And we start with this Brazilian girl. We set 3 points on the intraoral scan, and we set 3 points on the picture. Same 3 points. Set points, we calibrate the intraoral scan with the picture, and here we go. In case I didn't set my points very precise, I can calibrate now my points manually, like this. Now, you are gonna see or realize that sometimes the intraoral scan with the picture is a little bit shifted. So we never get the perfect calibration of the picture with the intraoral scan. That's normal, because pictures, depending on what lens or what camera you use, the pictures are distorted. So if you don't have the perfect calibration, just make sure that canine to canine is calibrated properly, and then the premolars are gonna go out. And you see here in the molar is just a little bit of a shift. But that's normal because the picture is not, distorted. When we have the calibration like this, that's good enough. We go to the next step. And in the next step, we set the occlusal plane by rotating the model in the perfect occlusal position. We do have here, you see the model in 3 views. Always scan the palatal area. We need these landmarks to define the midline. Plus, we're gonna use these landmarks when you extract teeth, when you prep teeth. This area is gonna be the same. So we use this area to superimpose several models on each other. Occlusal curve. Now, that's the most important decision that you need to make in the first step. It's like the ortho curve. So you define now here the occlusal curve of your patient and how do you want to achieve your design. That's gonna be automated. So if you have an additive case, you are gonna go more additive, right? Like this. If you have a prep file, you are gonna then really follow the incisal edges of your teeth. Now we're gonna create more of an additive case because we want a mock-up. First decision, occlusal curve. We go to the next step. And in the next step, we do have the most important piece of the workflow called 3D smile frame. So the 3D smile frame, as you can see, is different than the 2D smile frame because the 3D smile frame really follows the occlusal curve, really gives you the most accurate visual reference for your smile. If you change the midline, as I'm changing the midline right now, you see it goes round. So the 2D smile frame, when you change the midline and you move the whole 2D smile frame right and left, that's just a simulation. But here we just follow the facial or the dental midline. We can adjust the height. And now it's calculating. So this 3D smile frame, it's the heart of the 3D smile design. This 3D smile frame is gonna calculate automatically the teeth, the 3D templates, the position in the occlusal curve, the position in every single axis of the 3D smile design. We can reduce here the opacity, and you see the 3D smile frame shows you the smile curve, the height, the gingival curve, plus the tip of the papilla curve. These 2 curves in the middle. But that's the real 3D space, and the accuracy is, of course, completely different. Dental chart, you select whatever design you want. We're gonna go with the social smile. And now we have in the occlusal view the option to set the real width of every single tooth, because in the frontal view we have the frontal view of every single tooth of the canine, for example, or of the lateral, but we don't know how the width of every single tooth. Here we have the sliders, and we can move these distal lines to define the real width of every single tooth. I generate a smile, and here we go. The 3D smile design is done. And it was done in minutes. It was done with all my explanations, right? With all my explanations. And if you use a different software, like, I don't know, the Smile Creator, you're gonna, it's gonna take you 30 to 40 minutes to create the 3D smile design. Here, you can really do it when you have such cases. Look how the teeth are aligned in the occlusal curve. The angulations are perfect. Now we go to the 3D Smile design in the 3D Smile design screen, where we consider the face, right? I do have 4 views because the 4 views are the most important, in my opinion, when it comes to 3D Smile design. But I think it's not only my opinion, it's the universal truth, right? You cannot create a 3D smile from only one perspective. You need different perspectives on the smile. So we do have the smile in the face. That's the most important thing, because it's facial driven. Everything what we do is facial driven. And you see, these kind of smiles are possible in minutes. Now, let's go and fine tune the 3D Smile design. I select the outlines, and this feature, it's very powerful, because now you can see the interproximal spaces, right? You can move every single tooth in a very, very precise way, like this. You see the actual tooth of the patient like this central, and it's a little bit rotated to the front. So we're gonna change and keep the rotation of the centrals like this. It's way too buccal, my smile design. So I see here also the canine, and I think that's fine. Let's see how the result looks like. Okay, not bad at all. Now, what we need to do is adjust a little bit here the angulation, bring everything a little bit more buccal, and also the centrals. So you remember that the 3D Smile design can be a mock-up. Mock-up means it has to be an additive design, because we want the mock-up to be on top of the existing teeth, right? Or we can design something that is ideal. An ideal smile design would be, for example, a little bit different. Let's go for an ideal design. So that's gonna be the position of my centrals. That's gonna be the position of my laterals. And then I'm gonna create the canines. I'm gonna create this ideal mock-up, put the ideal mock-up in the mouth of the patient, and I'm gonna prep through the mock-up, because then I need the space to make sure that I have the space for my veneers and everything what I do. And this workflow is super important, because otherwise, when I start with the prep, like many dentists do, you start with the prep, you have a compromise. You don't know if the smile design that you plan can be done, or if you have enough space. We always start with the face. So I want the smile design to be in the face in the most ideal and harmonic way we can plan. And based on this design, we're gonna put the design in the mouth of the patient, and then we're gonna prep the teeth through the mock-up so that we create the space. And that's actually the Galib Gurel technique, right? He wrote beautiful papers 10 years ago. Create the space for your design and start with the face. But now what we need to do is, of course, a mock-up, motivational mock-up. So I'm gonna bring my teeth a little bit more buccal, like this, so that we make sure our design is covering the existing teeth. And here we go. That's my 3D Smile design. I can export this 3D Smile design. I go to the mesh editor. I'm gonna prepare this smile design now for the mock-up, for the print. And there is one rule, for the mock-up, we just need to delete from in the occlusal view, from the bite, everything, the teeth, so that the patient can close the mouth and has a feeling of more of veneers, instead of having bisacryl in the bite, which is not very a good feeling. So now we do have the mock-up. We can adjust the gingival margins here with our brushes. You see, it's deleted, and that's the model that we are gonna export, and we're gonna create the mock-up in Office. Here we go. It's quick. It follows a complete new workflow, and it really can be done easily in Office. Now, when it comes to the mock-up and to 3D smile design, we do have a lot of templates, right? And now the patient says, I don't know, I don't like the canines or the centrals. Instead of redesigning, you just select another canine, for example, like this, and now you have a different form of the canine or a flat canine. I need a flat canine, says the patient. Okay, you have flat canines, and now you can compare tipped canine with the flat canine. You don't need to redesign. That's the most important aspect of everything what we do, because we need to discuss with the patient and get from the patient the feedback. Flat canines, tipped canines, do you like the centrals? I don't know, maybe these ones, okay? So as you can see, it's very, very easy to play with the design and to find out patient's preference, right? Now we have the flat canines, it's fine. We can go and we can print. That's the motivational mock-up in-house 3D smile design. Now, coming back to the facial-driven smile design and the most beautiful and most important aspect of the smile. The smile needs to be in harmony with the face. We always start designing a perfect, harmonic, ideal smile, always. And then in the discussion with the patient, we plan the treatment planning like backwards engineering, right? We have the smile design, and the peri-analysis is going to be released this week. That's our ideal design, option A. How do we get this design? And at this point, I want to thank Diogo Alves for the crash course in perio-analysis that he gave me, because just in case you don't know, I'm not a dentist, not a technician. So I rely on the expertise of the real ones, right? Not on my expertise. So what we have here, we start with the crown lengthening aesthetic planning for this girl, and we design the smile ideal, the most beautiful smile in harmony with the face, right? Like, let me like this. How can we achieve this smile, right? Because we don't know. It's just we did the smile, and then we go to the next step where we analyze inside, of course, inside Smilefy, we have the design. That's the length of the tooth. We do have the CBCT bone superimposed with the intraoral scan. The bright yellow is the CBCT, the orange is the intraoral scan, and here we have the DICOM viewer. And the first plan that we have is the following one. If that's the height of the tooth, and the purple one is the veneer, our tooth, right? We go from the zenith of the tooth 3 millimeters up, we measure, and we see that the bone margin is actually 2 millimeters high. So the first option is to go with the osteoplasty for 1.3 millimeter and create the biological width for our veneer. And then we're gonna do the gingivectomy on here, and we're gonna have the perfect space, the biological width for our design option A, this one, right? So I measured 3 millimeters up, and the bone reduction, the crown lengthening here, 1.3 millimeters. I can check everything on my DICOM view. Option B, it's this one. You see the centrals are a little bit shorter. Now the patient says, I don't want the osteoplasty. Then you can show to the patient the second version. That's the height that we can do without reducing the bone. Because we plan backwards. We start with the bone margin, 3 millimeters down. We put our veneers, we reduce the height of the veneer, and then we have the gingivectomy here. And that's the design that is gonna be possible. And Andrea is perio, right? So that's your world. And then we can compare and we say, dear patient, that's option B, only gingivectomy. That's option A, ideal design, right? And it's so easy. It's so easy to measure and to create these two different treatment plans that it's just for the patient is just super powerful to understand. But I want option A because the centrals are bigger, the smile is much more radiant, right? The facial harmony is completely different than option B. And then you say, okay, then we need the following treatment: osteoplasty, gingivectomy. Facial flow. Facial flow integrated in the smile design means that glabella, tip of the nose, philtrum, and chin is not on a line, so patients don't have a midline actually of the face. It's more of a curve, and the idea or the philosophy of the facial flow is you cannot create tension in the face by designing a smile against the facial flow. So if you design your smile towards the red, it's gonna be crossing lines in the face. It's create a tension, and people don't know why they don't like the smile. Even if the teeth are beautiful and everything, it is a tension in the face. So follow the facial flow. Good. So, and then we go to the full art implant bridges. It's this workflow is also like 10 minutes. You just need to set the occlusal curve of the patient. We do have the implant bodies here. And then we generate automatically the arch and the position of the teeth. And afterwards, we create automatically the gums. And you can create these cases really super quick. Having also the option to mix the templates and to create a design for your patient for the full implant bridges that matches to the face, because we start with the face, right? So we start with the face and we need to make sure that the patient likes the form of the face. Another very interesting workflow that you can do is when you do the ortho. And ortho and aesthetic treatment, it is linked. They belong together. So if you do have, for example, the original scan, then you can import an ortho simulation or let's say the 10th sequence of an ortho planning, superimpose both, create the veneers, and then show to the patient, because it's a visual communication with the patient, show with the patient, I cannot give you the veneers immediately because that would mean that I need to cut your central tooth in half, and it's not minimal invasive dentistry. So we need to bring your teeth in the correct position, and then we can put veneers on top. More than that, it is also very important if we have the CBCT bone right in the case, and we design the case, we see the angulation of the roots, the axial angulation of the roots. So everything what we design is super easy and super accurate because we keep the same angulation of our veneers or crown, and we don't change the angulation so that we create pressure on the veneer in the wrong angulation, and then it breaks after 5 years, right? So, and then the cherry on top is you do have the case, you click on a button, case presentation, and we create the full presentation of the case automatically. You don't need to do anything. You can share the case presentation with your surgeon, with your team, with everybody involved in the case, and they don't need to open a project or emails, WhatsApp messages, whatever it is. They just open the case presentation and they review inside the project the case presentation. We do have chat. The digital patient is in the cloud. You export and print. And here we go. This, when you start the app, on the first page of the app, it is, let me show you. It is the real-time map of smile designs. And you are always, South Africa is every single day in the top 5 in the top 5 countries with smile design. You know, China sometimes, Japan, but South Africa is day and night top 5. So you are designing smiles heavily, and that's good. Okay. Do you have questions so far? Do you have?
Sorry, yes, I do have questions.
Yeah.
With regards to all these simulations and firstly setting of the occlusal curve, right? You set the occlusal curve based on your ideal outcome in terms of what you were trying to do. So if you're trying to do a mock-up or smile test drive, you set it more buccal or more outside than what you want it to be because of the fact that you want it to be over. But for treatments such as like your All-on-X or the implant stuff, you would set that based on the 12 o'clock picture. You would set that based, what is guiding that position exactly?
So the position is just the starting position. If I'm going to open also the full art implant bridge, that's just the starting point of your design. But of course, if you go to the 3D smile design, everything what you have is of course adjustable. Okay. So for example, I can group all my teeth. You see, they are grouped. And with the smile frame, I can select the smile frame. And let's say my smile, my occlusal curve was not ideal, right?
Yeah.
Now, look what I can do. I can move inside my arches the whole design with the whole smile curve. I can bring the whole design buccally. I can go lingually from mock-up to ideal, and that's a linear movement. So it really goes to the front, but I can change it to a circular movement, and then it goes in 90 degrees to every single tooth. So in case I do have, for example, like this, an ideal design, you see, an ideal design, I can reduce the arch, but the size of every single tooth also reduces so that I get all my design in this space.
Yes.
So that's the starting point, but everything else afterwards, it's just adjustable, of course.
All right. Second question, follow up to that one is, at the moment in that you are looking at a facial projection just from the front. So with the occlusal curve, obviously we know that if you look from the side or you take profile pictures, you would want to see how those teeth exit and what the emergence looks like of those teeth. Are you able to, while you're designing, look at those different projections of the face as well?
If you have, right now we didn't integrate the 12 o'clock picture or the profile picture in the 3D smile design. What you can do is to use the facial scan. So I open now a case with the facial scan, and you can use the facial scan, you know, to check your design, or of course you can rotate the free view to the side and then to see how everything looks like. To some point, we're going to integrate also the profile view of the patient and then put the smile in the profile view. That's not a big change, so we can do it. That's why on one side, the 12 o'clock picture, but we just angulated them all so that you can see, you know, the smile curve.
All right.
So,
second question, with regards to stuff like your Ortho Simulation, in Smilefy, you're able to segment the teeth on the STL and move the teeth to where you want them to be? Or that's the first part of the question. And then the second part of the question is, if you're using a third-party aligner company and you've already got their post-treatment STL, are you able to bring that STL back into your original smile design and compare the two?
Yes. So to the last question, if you have a smile design, the initial smile design, you can always import new files and superimpose the new files. For example, the ortho model with the original intraoral scan, and then you have actually the design over the ortho model, right? And then you can readjust the design and save. That's of course possible, and you can import several STLs, whatever you want, and just adjust the design. You don't need to recalibrate or do anything. Just import a new model, calibrate, and then adjust. The first question was, if we can segment the teeth from the intraoral scan and move them.
Yes.
We do have a prototype to segment the teeth from the CBCT. Now, from the intraoral scan, we don't have it yet, but that would be, I don't know for what purpose, Diogo. Eventually, just to keep the same tooth of the patient and simulate an ortho.
Yes, to motivate. So the thought process behind it is that ortho is hard to sell, right? It's hard to understand. It's hard for patients to accept. And a lot of the times you don't necessarily want to change shape, size, etc. You just want those teeth, which are natural and beautiful to the patient, in a better position.
Yeah.
So if you take it into a smile design, where you are actually, the way you move the digital mock-up teeth, you're able to move the actual teeth to show, according to your face, this is where your teeth need to be, but this is the movement we need to do to get there. I think that would be a valuable add-on. So if you want to think about it, then.
Yeah, sure. So we work based on users' feedback, you know. We don't invent problems, we solve them.
Love it. Okay, those are my questions.
So do we have more questions?
Not from the viewers that I can see. You can continue.
Okay, so I want to show you a facial scan that's done by a company called Shining 3D. And we work with this company, and this company until now has the best facial scan that I ever saw, because you see the lips are super accurate and it's almost no distortion. So, you know, if you want for example, the 12 o'clock view, then you go like this. If you want, you know, the profile view, then you go like this, and it looks very, very precise and good. So they're going to release this scan very soon. And then also I think the most important aspect of this technology is that we can really visualize, you see, with the nose and with the lips, the new design. So we're gonna connect directly the scan with the app. And also most important, because I think you have to make it simple, you know, if you go to the intraoral scans, you can connect directly the Medit scan and the trios directly to Smilefy. So you click on TreeShape, you log into your TreeShape account, and then you can download the patients, right? So all this stuff is very, very simple to do. Okay, so I'm gonna let Diogo the stage, so you can take over.
Thank you, Ralph, and
thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mary, Dr. Corny, to having us. I'm Dr. Diogo Alves. I've been a dentist for about 13 years, and in the past three 3.5 years I've been using digital workflow in my practice. I do have a question for you guys. You guys will see a little poll, which is right on your screen. I want to know your specialty. I think it's important for me to understand your workflow, where you're coming from, so then I can give you the best lecture, the best hands-on for you guys. All right, so here, I'm seeing that most of you guys are general dentists. We have a couple of prosthodontists, a couple of ortho, dental technicians. Wonderful. So I've been practicing again for 13 years. How long have you guys been practicing? Let me know here in the chat. I want to know a little bit more about you guys. By the way, I've never been to South Africa before. It's my dream to go there one day. Who knows? Maybe we can be friends at some point. So here, 90% of you guys are general practitioners. Wonderful. Then my second question is, let me share, what digital tools do you have in your practice? Okay, digital tools could be from just like an iPhone camera to having everything. Intraoral scan, 3D printer, CBCT in your own practice. Please let me know so I can start. Oh, pretty great, Dr. Mary. We have a lot of doctors here with intraoral scanners. All of you guys are very digital. Wonderful. Oh, CBCT is on the second run. Mm-hmm. Great. I'm going to end the poll now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll. All right, so here, I have that 37% of you guys have an intraoral scanner and camera, which is great. 33% have a camera. 7% have an intraoral scan, camera, and a 3D printer, and 24% of you guys have the entire digital tools in your practice, including CBCT. Pretty amazing. Here, let me share the results with you guys. There we go. Pretty amazing. I want to show you that no matter how many tools you have in your practice, you can become a smile designer with Smilefy. As Ralph was showing in the beginning, you guys have a camera, and a camera can allow you to deliver what we call the smile simulation, which is that very first step of what we were planning in this program today. Now, let me go ahead and show you what can be done with Smilefy, just to summarize it. Simulate, 3D plan, perform. Everything that Ralph was explaining to you guys today can be done in your practice, no matter how digital your practice is. Let's say that you only have your camera. What can you do with it? You take a picture of a patient, you perform your smile simulation, then do a mouth impression, and you can ask your dental technician to scan that model so you can design it, and you can have full control of your workflow. For those who have intraoral scanner and a camera, you can initiate the entire process digitally, then send it to your lab digitally so they can 3D print the models for you. You will reduce turnaround time, you will reduce, you will reduce the overall costs. For you doctors who do have a 3D printer in a practice as well, then you have everything in your hands. You perform the simulation, you perform the 3D design, you can 3D print, and then perform the final restorations. This is the goal of Smilefy. It's to help you to understand that becoming a smile designer doesn't necessarily requires you to have all digital tools in your practice, but you can become a smile designer with what you have. Smile simulation, just to begin with, it gives a comprehensive communication with your patient. But it's not only for full mouth reconstructions or full mouth rehabilitation. You can do smile simulations to give your patient a different perspective of that final outcome. Let's say we have a patient, like Dr. Mary was saying, a patient who already finished ortho procedures, and you know from your experience that you could improve that smile. How can you tell the patient that there is still some work to be done and that work will benefit her smile in the long run? Perform a smile simulation. Simple, take a picture, set the smile frame, and show it to the patient chair side. Prosthodontic cases, ortho brainstorming, periodontal cases, static cases. No matter what type of treatment plan that you are proposing to your patient, when you show a simulation, when you simulate that communication with your patient, the patient then starts to understand your treatment plan because they can see the simulation with themselves. So let's start with our hands-on session. We're going to be working on this patient. Her name is Maria. And Maria is available on your Smilefy. If you haven't downloaded Smilefy yet, I'm going to put here on the screen. Just if you have an iPhone or iPad, open your camera, point at this QR code, so that way you can download Smilefy, register an account, and do a smile simulation with me. I am all about interactions. Okay, I'm Brazilian. Brazilians like to talk, and I heard it. South Americans also like to talk. So please, I kindly ask you to let me know here in the chat if you are ready to start our hands-on session. Give me a yes, or tell me to wait one more second so we can get started. All right, I'm getting lots of yeses, thumbs up. Wonderful. All right, so just as Ralph was saying, the very first step for you to initiate a facially guided treatment plan, it's by creating a smile simulation, which will simulate the patient's future smile, and you will be able to use it as a pre-treatment plan for your case, like a draft. So I want you guys to tap on Smilefy app on your iPhone, iPad, or MacBook. And on your top left corner, there is a menu bar. Tap on this menu bar. And now tap on New Patient. For you to begin your smile simulation in real life, when you do with your patients, you will go straight to 2D Smile Design, take a picture, and move forward. Us, we will do a trial patient, so we can all work on the same patient. The trial version, it's right here in this purple icon called Try Me. Now I want you guys to tap on Try Me 2D. And let's select patient number 3. Her name is Maria. So Maria, actually, she was our front desk, and then she became the model of Smilefy. Her face is all over the globe, and she's very happy. So guys, make sure that you do a good smile simulation on her. So here, Maria, let's talk about her. She's a young patient, healthy patient, but the problem is that she's not satisfied with the gap that she has in between her teeth, and she's also not satisfied with the length of her anterior teeth. Clinically speaking, she's a healthy patient, no gum disease, no cavities. She's a little protruded. It's still class 1, but slightly protruded. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, she came in saying that she wants to do veneers. That's all she cares about. She wants to do veneers as quick as possible. I want you guys to think and start to create the simulation with me. And as you simulate, I want you to think about the treatment plan that you could be proposing to her. All right? Here, in a pinch mode, you can zoom in and zoom out. Then we have these arrows. Those are red arrows right below this smile frame. If you put your finger or your Apple Pencil in it, you can move it up, down, left, or right. Smilefy is available on App Store, just to answer the doctor's question. The next step, after you position the smile frame over the patient's teeth, is for you to adjust the width of each tooth. Right now, as you can see, the centers are more or less in the right position. However, take a look at the canine premolars and molars. They are totally off. We have buttons and commands at the bottom. So if you're using an iPhone, for example, scroll up and you see more options, more command options. One of them is ratio. Let's adjust the ratio. Notice that I'm placing canine on top of the canine, lateral on top of a lateral. And now let's also work on the buccal corridor. The buccal corridor will adjust the width of those premolars and molars. So bring this sphere towards the right side, and you will see that the width of these premolars are also expanding. Let's talk about smile curvature and occlusal plane, as Dr. Mary was asking. As you guys can see here, we don't have a facial bow. So how do we use smile designs and treatment plan into a real case? By taking the right frontal facial picture, you will mimic the position of the occlusal plane from an anterior view. For example, if you're taking a picture and the head is tilted up, most likely you will have a wrong smile curvature because the curvature from that frontal view will be inverted. If I'm taking a picture from my dental chair with my camera up here, you will have a very curved smile curvature, which will give you wrong proportions. You take the right picture of your patient, natural head position, sitting up straight, looking straight at the lens of the camera with a big wide smile, and you will have the perfect position that will mimic the occlusal plane, just like in a facial bowl. Now, let me tell you one thing here. I'm going to advance a little bit to 3D design. If we do it in an analog world, how do we do it? We do a mouth impression, then we get the facial bowl, place everything in the patient's face, remove it, transfer it into a car or anywhere to deliver, give it to your lab. Then the lab receives that information. How would you know if that information is 100% accurate or not? You had the delivery, you had probably, maybe the face was slightly tilted to one side or to the other. So what we do here, we focus on the picture, the position of the head, to then design in a simulation, transfer that into 3D print, do in-mouth adjustments, then that become functional mock-ups to send it to your lab. Okay, so let's go back to our very first step, which is the simulation.
Sorry, Diego, before
Yes.
you go back, can I just ask you a question quickly? The smile frame usually comes from the facial lines, right? The lines that you draw on the face. On Smilefy, is that already worked in via AI, or is this because this is a test that we're not doing that step, or is it not a step?
So Smilefy works with artificial intelligence. So this is just a patient that we can all practice together. But even if you do smile simulations with your real patients, the workflow would be the same.
Okay.
Everything is powered by artificial intelligence. The frame will already appear. All you have to do is small adjustments onto it.
All right. Thank you.
At the bottom of your screen, you will see Generate Smile. So I kindly ask you to tap on Generate Smile. After you tap on Generate Smile, Smilefy will give you a suggestive smile simulation, which means that based on the patient's average age and facial shape, it will calculate and suggest a smile simulation for you. Now, let's say that you want to customize it. Smilefy will allow you to customize it. We have these buttons called Smile Harmony, Frame, and Colors. In the very first step, from right after you tap on Generate Smile, you see young, middle age, mature, and Smile Gem. And on the right side, you'll see oval, square, triangle, and free. I want you to scroll all the way up until you find Smile Gem and free. And now tap on Generate. So as you can see, different teeth shapes appear with a click of a button. So rather designing tooth by tooth or giving the patient different options, like after you redesign the whole thing, you can show the patient different smile simulations just by clicking in one button. Now, let's go ahead and tap on Frame, which is the third column. In Frame, you can still adjust height, width, position, and also select how many teeth you want for the smile simulation. In this case, for example, as you guys can see, we see only from second premolar to second premolar. So here at number of teeth, I want you to go to 10 teeth. So that way you have some space for the buccal corridor, and so that the smile simulation becomes more natural and easier for the patient to understand. Let's now tap on Next. And here you have your first smile simulation. So I want to know in the chat, were you able to follow the steps and create your smile simulation?
Yes.
Dr. Friend, yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I want to ask you guys now, based on your smile simulation, even though it's a simulation and it opens that conversation with your patient, what would you propose to your patient? Please write me in the chat. This case is ready. I can show you guys later what we did, but I want to know from you. What would you propose to the patient based on your smile simulation?
In terms of next steps or in terms of treatment?
In terms of treatments.
In terms of
as my simulation shows what? Shows simulates the
ideal end.
final outcome, right? So the patient is only looking at the final, and what you wanted from the beginning, I want to have veneers, period. But you,
okay, but can I play devil's advocate?
Can you play what?
That devil's advocate is that from a 2D simulation as this,
Okay.
it's a little bit difficult to treatment plan. So what you might want to do is a 3D
So
plan.
Okay, let's go, let's roll back then. To do my simulation, as we were saying from the beginning, it simulates the patient's smile. It is not the ideal. Desire is an idea of what you can provide to your patient. Clinically speaking, what we found, patient with no cavities, class 1, slightly flared, only on the anterior teeth, gummy smile, gapping between her centrals. Now, how would you transform all of her informations, what you found clinically, and what you are showing on a smile simulation into a comprehensive communication with the patient?
Okay. I'm going to keep quiet and let everyone else answer.
So here I have Dr. John saying additive bonding, direct additive veneers, gingivactomy if possible, and veneers. You see, that's exactly how I want you guys to start to think. I'm doing as my simulation. Why am I doing as my simulation? Just to sell? No, we have to have some knowledge into it, and then we translate the message to our patient in the most simple way. Let me tell you what I did for Dr. Dorian Gingivactomy and veneers. Let me tell you what I did for this patient. Since she was a class 1 with like slightly flared teeth, we told her that if we were going to go for veneers, we would have to prep her teeth. So instead, we showed her that would be much simpler and much more conservative if we could go through an orthodontic procedure first to align her teeth, to then correct the gum line, do whitening, and then perform with bonding. In that conversation with her, the patient was actually pretty happy because we told her, we're gonna save your teeth, you're very young. So then we ended up having a very profitable treatment plan with our patient. Let me show you. Very profitable treatment plan with our patient that first started with a with a simulation. We went over orthodontic procedure. After we finished the orthodontic procedure, then we moved into 3D design. The 3D design was used to create what we call a Gingivactomy guide. Let me show it to you guys. Let me know if you can see it. So after the ortho procedure, we scanned the patient now with the ideal position. We did our perio analysis into Smilefy, created a mock-up that would guide on where to do the gum contouring. And then guess what? We found beautiful teeth behind that gum. So instead of going for veneers, we did composite bonding at the incisal edge and finalized the case. Everything done in Smilefy, in office, facially guided. And by the way, the same 3D shape that she selected was the same shape that we used to create the guide. What we have, healthy patient with beautiful smile, natural smile, that because of a smile simulation, we were able to develop an entire treatment plan for her. And this is the power of becoming a smile designer, no matter if you are fully digital or if you are just getting started in the digital workflows. What else can you create on your smile design workflows, composite veneers restorations. This is a very hot topic at the moment. Composite veneers, everybody is talking about composite veneers. One of the reasons it's because the material from the lab is becoming more expensive due to pandemic. So the lab cost is much higher. I can show you that if you take a photo of your patient, do your clinical exam, develop your treatment plan along with this Smile simulation, you can create a 3D mock-up guide to deliver injectable composite restorations and guided, let's say, freehand composite techniques as well. All within your practice, all facially guided, and all with that participation of your patient's feedback. Nobody wants to do something that is irreversible without knowing what's going to happen. So our mindset is to always think ahead of the game. You, doctor, and we have here almost 200 doctors, you are amazing. Everything that you do is fantastic. You have studied so hard in your whole life. I'm including myself, I'm including Dr. Mary, Dr. Samia. We have studied so hard. We have practiced so much that it is imperative that all of us understand how to communicate and how to treatment plan cases that are facially guided and that are having the patient involved in the process. When you deliver your own digital workflow in your practice, rather than sending it all to your lab, you are in control of everything. You know your patient, you have spoken to your patient, you know the patient's fears, you know the patient's feelings, you feel the vibe of that patient. So you know what the patient is looking for. When you send it to your lab, you have to send all this information to them. Sometimes we are too busy and then we miss on some things here and there. Then what happens? The lab will do the best of their capabilities to give you what you asked for. But since you're not fully in control of everything, it's a hit or miss. It could go right, it could go wrong. And when it goes wrong, the patient simply tells you, I don't like it. All right, let's redo it. Send it back to the lab. Wait a couple of weeks, send it back. Let's do another trial. Send it back to the lab. Then the patient is not motivated. You are not motivated. Everybody's stressed out. You, as a Smile designer, you change the game because you are taking ownership of everything. And then your lab, instead of working for you, will work with you. That's the goal. Have a big team. Even if you're not present in your office, they will be part of your treatment plan. They will be part of this entire workflow. Creating your own dental mock-ups will give you the chance to have the freedom to speak with your patient, give your patient different options, deliver more conservative outcomes. And from the beginning, I'm saying, no matter if you have all digital tools or if you're just starting, it is always possible to become a Smile designer. These, for example, are silicone guides that you can create out of your 3D design. For example, on the left side, we have a clear matrix, which you can perform your injectable composite restoration or your heated composite restoration. We have a palatal guide if you are a very high-skilled dentist, you want to do freehand. We have a cross-sectioning silicone guide that will guide you on the thickness of that restoration to confirm everything that you did on your 3D design. And based off of that, you can deliver natural-looking final restorations. Of course, it will vary from, the workflow will vary from a composite restoration to a veneer restoration. This one, for example, I did with composites. The composite workflow, you do everything in office. If you're doing a veneer restoration or any type of a facet, I don't know if you say that in South Africa, then you do a Smile prototype, tack on adjustments, scan the patient, prep the teeth, and send all these to your lab. But again, you're giving them everything that you as a dentist know, because you are the owner of that treatment plan. Smilefy is not only for creating designs, right? But it gives you, it's a tool that gives you the chance to develop a more comprehensive workflow for your practice. So by doing a smile simulation, you motivate your patient, you educate your patient, you pre-plan the treatment plan in your head so you can develop better treatment plan. You develop a radiological report or CBCT viewer if you want to perform Gingivactomy, for example, or any other type of procedure that needs to involve bone structure or hard soft tissue combined. You can develop lower 3D design as well. And you can show your patient a digital version of themselves and show different mock-ups virtually, even before you 3D print them. So this is what Smilefy can do for your practice. So I want to know from you guys. You guys have been here for about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and the interaction has been amazing. I want to know from you, do you think that Smilefy 3D smile planning can be beneficial in your practice? So Dr. Mary, Dr. Courtney, good thing is that nobody's saying no.
Excellent.
That's great news. That's great news.
We have two no answers, and it would be interesting to know if you guys eventually have a different workflow, or you know, how everything is working. So one aspect that is so important when it comes to the Smilefy platform is the ability to share the digital patient between your team members, right? So you don't have one computer, one space where the case is trapped. You can share the case. If I have a design, for example, I can share my design with Jogo in Brazil in 1 second. I just click on Team Up, I say Jogo, and then he gets the case in 1 second. So we can work connected on the other side of the world. That is exactly the same way you can work with your lab technician, you can work with your orthodontist, with your implantologist, with your periodontist. So you create a team, and this digital patient in the cloud is accessed from everybody, and everybody puts on top his expertise, his project, his case, without emails, Dropboxes, messages, everything gets lost, right? You have one digital patient. And here we have everything what it needs to be done. So
can I quickly ask a question on that, Rolf? So if I want to share my designs with my technician or with the periodontist that I work with, do they also need to have Smilefy? Or is it a file that I can, is there a different way of sharing it?
It depends. So it is like this. If you have your own team, right, you can add to your account several devices. That everybody, if you work with the same periodontist or lab, then you have access to the same patients. You can share. If the lab is working with also with other users, right, then the lab has his own account, and then you can just communicate when you decide to share the case with someone. So in your own practice, if you have, for example, if you need 6 devices, then you can use 6 devices with the corporate account.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
If I can speak to the no responses that we got, I think it might seem quite overwhelming initially if you're consulting like 8 patients a day and you must go design for all these patients. What we often overlook in the chaos of what's new is the opportunities that could come from it. And you could potentially have another person employed at your practice who is dedicated to generating your designs, which would definitely help our employment rate. And, you know, add to the economy. Or you could outsource, you could get together as a group and do it as, you know, a team effort, maybe on one Friday morning, something along those lines. So there are many ways to solve the idea that this is overwhelming and I don't have the time. You can also decide how much you want to do with the software. Do you just want to use it to motivate your patients and then outsource the rest? Or do you want to go through step by step? And I think that is very important to understand from the beginning in terms of what you're doing and how you want to do it and how this is going to help you do it.
Yeah. And also maybe one important, excuse me, Joe, one important aspect of Smilefy is that we have a very, very strong team of integrational consultants. So when you sign up, you are not alone. You know, like, oh, I need to learn somehow, I need to watch tutorials. We do have the onboarding training. We have the training sessions with our consultants. We help you doing the first cases, your own patients. So you are fully supported, you know, you are fully supported. So it's not like a platform and now you need to figure out yourself what to do tomorrow. No, no, no. We go with you, you know, through all the stages, and you're not going to start, you know, with the most complex case with the DICOM viewers and with the everything. We're going to go step by step, the smile simulation, the simple 3D smile design, how to integrate the DICOM files, and then we are going to grow actually the expertise step by step with every single case.
Yeah, that's correct. From the beginning, I was telling you guys that no matter how digital your practice is, you can always become a smile designer. Most of our team members here at Smilefy are dentists, so we know how busy you guys are. I still work as a dentist here in Brazil as well. I know how busy it can be. And then sometimes the learning curve can take a little while until you master it. All the Smilefy members, we treat them as individual. So all members, they have access to this personal session with our smile designers. It's a live session, with about like 45 minutes, where we first want to know, what are your goals? Step one. Second, we want to help you connect all devices, everything that you have in your practice, so you can design with ease. Then we set up a session, which is literally a training session, where you learn step by step how to perform the simulation. You can bring your own patient, or we can practice with one of our patients, just like we did. And we are offering actually for you guys from South Africa, a master class, which is already included for new members. The master class will have 3 modules. First module is the smile simulation. Everything about smile simulation, photograph, and digital tools that you can have in your practice. We move on to the second module, 3D smile planning. You will learn step by step how to calibrate the files, how to select the right teeth based on the patient's facial features, export, and 3D print. And third module, we talk a little bit about business. We teach you how you can use the power of smile designs to your advantage.